Okay. Hello, Tom Levecki here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. We are doing a special quarantine edition. I'm going to be a little bit of a fanboy for a moment. We have Jeffrey Gitomer, who is the sales guru of guru. So here's the thing. This is how this works, right? If you know a sales guru, and you think of the best sales gurus now, I think of Grant Cardone, Jordan Belfort, whoever you think of. This is the idol of those people. Jeffrey Gitomer, welcome to New Theory Podcast. How you doing today?
Thank you very kindly. Yeah, you're right. I've taught a lot of these guys how to do their thing, and then they go off and do their own thing, and then it goes down a rabbit hole.
Exactly. So start off. So Jeffrey Gitomer has sold well over 5 million copies. I'm going to put his link below. The accolades. We'll be here for 2 weeks. This guy knows. Yeah, exactly. The little red book of selling is the sales Bible. It's decent, not a sales Bible. It's the sales Bible. So Jeffrey, give a little background. What got you into sales? What was the attraction, and why did you get into it?
Well, my family were business people. My dad, my grandfather, we built homes, owned hotels, manufactured stuff. So I always understood the selling process. And then I started my own business and realized that if I didn't make any sales, I wasn't going to succeed. And then I sold in New York City, which is a little bit more difficult than making sales in even Hoboken.
Yep.
And I put myself in a winning position there, selling literally millions of dollars worth of stuff. And then I started to write about how to sell. And once you start to write about it, people start to read about it, then they start to follow it. And then you become, their sales hero. And ultimately you get old enough and you become a folk hero.
Now, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I consider myself a salesman because I still sell every day.
Yeah.
I made a $25,000 sale this morning before you got up. And I make a sale every day for something or another, whether it's $1,000 or $100,000. I'm a seller, and people want to buy from me. They want to buy, so I don't have to do a whole hell of a lot. I use the closing question, "Fair enough," and they go, "Well, yeah," and then I made the sale.
So I agree with you, but we took a big leapfrog, right? So that's an assumptive close or a trial close. So with you on that, right? So, but you sold a whole bunch of stuff in New York City. What were you selling? And then also, did you work in a sales leadership role, teach other reps how to sell? Or did you go right away to writing and offer your recipe? Or did you lead some people first?
I had my own manufacturing businesses.
Okay.
And I was the sales guy.
Okay.
So I would go to New York City. I made leisure furniture. I was the sales guy. I made imprinted sportswear. I was the sales guy. And I would go bang on doors of Fortune 500 company presidents and talk to them. Because why would I want to talk to some piker when I could talk to a big boss? Well, why would I want to try to make 1,000 sales calls for $1 when I could make one sales call for $1,000? And that was basically my philosophy. So I'd call on big people who could make big buying decisions. And I sold literally millions of dollars worth of things by people who could give me $1 million order or at least $100,000 order. And so that's how I looked at it. I did not lead a sales force per se in my own companies, but I have coached thousands of sales teams and worked with thousands of sales leaders around, literally, or mostly around the country, but around the world as well, and including many companies in New York City. And because we're salespeople, when I sit with an audience from New York City, this is how I start my talk. I say, salespeople think they know everything. But in New York City, salespeople actually do know everything. So anything I tell you today will just be a review. And I start from there. And because everyone in New York City is the smartest guy in the world. They got a brother-in-law, they got an Aunt Nellie, they got somebody that's in the business, they got a dog, they got a cat, they got a goldfish, they got a mistress, whatever. And they all know everything.
Correct.
And so that's how I lived, that's how I grew up. I grew up with that bullshit.
So,
and I'm from Philly, so we actually really do know everything.
Well, that's the road, right? So
right, exactly.
but here's real quick, Jeffrey, because I'm fascinated by this. Okay, so you sold a whole bunch of crap. You made a few bucks, right? Now you went over to write your first book. Were you kind of like somewhat financially stable? Let me get into the book space. Did you risk it? And then like, because generally, like, you know, this books are like stuff you do after you made your money. So where were you at? How did you do it? And
I was relatively broke when I wrote my first book. I had a column that appeared in the business journals around the country, and I said to myself, if I write 100 columns, I got a book. So a column about 60 or 70, I said, no, I got enough. And then I cold called a bunch of publishers in New York City because I already knew how to make cold calls.
Yeah.
And they bought. And from that point on, my whole life changed once I started to write. Like, you can make money as a salesperson.
Correct.
And good money. You can make good money as a salesperson, but you make money when you start to speak and you start to write and you start to do consulting. Then it's money.
But you went to, like, let's cut to the bullshit. You went to a different level, right? Like, you get a sales book, you write it, you sell 1,500 units of Xerox, you do a speech, rah. You know, you go here, you go there. You fucking sold 5 million plus. Like,
Yeah.
give me, like, how did you break out to mainstream? I mean, this is serious stuff.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Bookstores do not sell books. They sell space.
Okay.
So when this book arrived from China, I started to cry because I knew I had a brand.
Yeah.
And this book came out in 1994. So that would make it like 16 years old right now.
Yeah.
It's in its 30th printing, but it was on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list for 103 straight weeks because I invested somewhere around $10,000 a month to keep the book on the shelves in bookstores, in the airports, in Barnes and Noble, in Borders at the time that was open. So you could always walk into the store and get a stack of books. And I would sign them wherever I was around the country, thousands of them in Charlotte all by itself at the airport.
Wow.
And so I was not just known as Jeffrey Gitomer, I was known as the guy that wrote the Little Red Book of Selling. People didn't know me, and I go, well, I wrote the Little Red Book of Selling. I give it to all my people. I started because it's an easy read, and it's an understanding book about not how to sell, but rather why people buy. So I wrote it from a different perspective.
Okay.
The book is the #1 best-selling sales book of all time.
Correct. By far.
And so that's the deal. And people don't understand that when you write, this book took me 2 years to write. Like the Sales Bible took me 2 years because I was only writing a column every week. This took 2 years to write because I actually wrote everything, edited everything, made sure everything was right, hired the cartoon guy, created the design for the book. I mean, there's a lot went into this, a lot. And it wasn't even my idea. My publisher, Ray Bard, one of the 3 honest people in publishing, all the rest are pretty much liars and whores. But my publisher said, hey, Harvey Pinnock wrote the Little Red Book of Golf and sold 1.5 million copies. I'll bet you could write the Little Red Book of Selling and outsell it.
Love it.
And we were at a Mexican restaurant in Austin, Texas.
Wow.
I scratched out a dozen of the chapters on a napkin, still have the napkin.
Wow.
And that's how it got started. It literally got started in a restaurant with somebody else's idea.
Wow. Yeah, but you did it see, this is the thing, right? I'm old enough, like, I'm old, trust me, but old enough to know, like, this was before you sending out a tweet to 250,000.
No, there was no social media. No social media whatsoever.
So it could have been 20.
You were either in print, you were either in a printed document or a magazine or a newspaper, and the only thing you could send out or receive was a fax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it.
So what was your model? Because even if you know this, even when you sell a lot of books, you generally don't make a ton of money. So where was the money? Was it speaking? Was it consulting, selling programs? Like
No, Tom, the money was in loving what I did.
Well, huh?
That was the money.
Wow.
And I gave speeches and people would pay me money, and then they'd pre-buy the books or post-buy the books. And then I started in '99. I started to record myself in a studio. I had my own studio.
Yeah.
So I did online training, and everything was its own profit, silo to be able to make a few dollars with it. And now we're making the total pivot, although I hate to use that word, to online training. I don't need to prove that I can go to an airport and get on an airplane and land in Dallas or Omaha or San Francisco and give a speech.
Correct.
What I need to prove is that my stuff will last forever. And I can only do that in my studio.
So I'm with you on that. And there's two sides of me. There is I wrote a sales book as well, right? Small, only sold 2,500 units, but nevertheless. So wrote a sales book. I believe in, the sales principles and they want to buy from us and motivating factors. I'm 100% there, right? Then there's kind of the Jersey Italian guy that's looking at like my account every day to see if the PPP hit and not collecting from my clients because they're closed. So I struggle with like the principles of, oh, this is the time to double down, and this is this is the time to put your foot on the neck and blah blah blah, And then there's the other part of me is like, oh crap, like this is not good. So balance this out for me because you're an experienced guy, right? So like where are we really fucked, and where is a real opportunity, Jeffrey?
I'm launching a course next week called The New Normal.
Ooh.
Because the old normal will never come back. You ain't going to line up for a restaurant or a movie the same way you did before. You're not going to board a plane the same way you did before.
Yeah.
You're not going to make a sales call the way you did before.
True.
You're in a, how many people I talk to and they're at their home and their bed's not made and I can see it. Yeah, those people are schmucks because they don't understand, as salespeople who thought they were invisible for years are now visible. And so you're going to go on these virtual sales calls from your home predominantly, maybe from your car, but now that you know how to use Zoom, which a lot of people didn't know how to use, or Facebook Live, or your FaceTime on your iPhone or your whatever phone you have, it's going to be the new normal.
Yeah.
Like I do a Facebook Live every morning at 10 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
This morning, let me see what I got here. Within 2 hours of my call, I had 5,700 people reached, 900 engagements.
Oh, wow.
1.6 thousand views, 8 shares, and 213 comments.
Nice.
For free.
Yeah.
So I hold up my latest book, Get Shit Done, and all of a sudden I sell 100 copies.
Wow.
And so I'm not trying to promote it by sending out an ad.
Yeah.
Hey, buy my book.
Yeah.
I'm promoting it with a Facebook Live presentation about what to do now. You're in the pandemic. You're in the lockdown, whatever you're in. Yeah, and you're in Jersey, which is like worse because your governor's an asshole. And everybody knows it. And some people now, all of a sudden, no one will admit voting for the guy. Well, I didn't vote for him. Like, dude, he won. Okay, so you have a governor who's a douchebag, who's closing businesses, and you're trying to sell in that environment. So here's the answer.
Yeah.
Stop selling for a while.
Yeah.
Now, I've always been the proponent, and if you inside this book, it's very simple. It says sell to help.
Okay.
And now you have to take it even one step deeper and say, help people win.
Okay.
Your customers all have anxiety right now. Your customers all have needs right now. Your customers are panicked that they're not making any sales.
Correct.
So just call them up and go, yeah, hey, hey, Bob, it's Tom. And if they say, Tom who, you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they say, Bob, it's Tom. Oh, hey, Tom, how's it going? Listen, I know you're probably hurting in one area or another, and I have nothing for sale today, but I do have help that I can give. So tell me how I can help you the most.
Jeffrey,
Bob will never listen. It's not the Jersey way.
Yeah. Oh.
Because the Jersey way is, to shake me upside down, let my wallet fall out, and then step on the wallet while it's on the street.
Well, it's funny.
But I,
Yeah.
I live in Charlotte right now. It's, people help each other here, and they're actually nice.
Well, so I agree with you, and I come from like an Italian background, which goes either way, right? Either like you said,
Yeah,
literally.
you don't know whether to. I have a friend who's half Italian, half Jewish. He says, I don't know whether to buy it wholesale or steal it.
I like the same difference. So you see someone up and down. So that part I get, but I get the whole like, they say one hand may wash the other, but you need two hands to wash your face, right? So I wanna be specific because you're the guru, but somebody who's listening could really like tackle and like listen and latch on. Let's say anything like ad sales, right? Hey, buy this ad, and business is closed, right? So I wanna help. I wanna partner. I wanna have a symbiotic goal to help you, right? But then I can't really give you even a free ad or reduced ad because I can't. The principal agent problem. Me, I'll work for free, right? I have no problem working for free, but my employees won't, right? So where I struggle sometimes with Jeffrey is I know, I believe you have to add value. You have to align your mutual goals. You have to find out the motivation. It's about relationships where, hey, oh Tom, you're fucked, right? But okay, great. Hey Tom, but you know what though? My pizzeria is closed. I can't buy an ad, right? But how do you balance the let's help
Tom,
you?
Tom, listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You call your customers on the phone and say, what would please you the most?
Yeah.
And they say, anything that would bring customers across my threshold. And you say, I can do that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you something for free until you can decide it's time to pay me. Is that fair enough? Yeah, that's fair enough.
But,
and you know what's going to happen? One guy is going to call another guy, going to call another guy, going to call another guy. And all of a sudden your phone is going to ring with, hey, can you remember that guy that called you up on the phone? Can you do the same thing for me? Sure, I can. The cheapest thing you can give away right now is what you sell, unless you're selling Cadillacs or Mercedes. And even then, there's an old joke that, the price of oil is in the shitter. And the old joke is, what's the difference between a Texas oil man and a pigeon? And the answer is a pigeon can still put a deposit on a Mercedes. And so you have to put yourself in a position where I don't know how you purvey what you sell. I don't know what the process is, but I can't imagine that you couldn't work out something with your customer that says, hey, I'll give you this campaign right now. Don't pay me for 6 months.
Yeah.
So you have some money on the books, but there has to be a benevolence. And in New Jersey, once you pass exit 6, there's no more benevolence.
So here's the thing.
None.
Well, let me ask you this. And we believe in the right, like, partnerships, the right clients, right? So my biggest client, and just happens to be a plastic surgeon. Never can tell by looking at me, but happens to be a plastic surgeon. And the guy's killing it before, he'll kill it after. He kept me on retainer, kept going, good attitude. Like we probably talked more today than we ever talked. Busy guy. And he's just winning. He's just winning because he didn't call me up to reduce a retainer. He didn't call me up to squeeze me. If anything, he doubled down on resources, and he's going to win.
Right.
First, I got clients that had like goods that already been shipped and don't want to pay because they now don't have money. And I saw the ugliness in people.
No, they have the money. They're sitting on it.
Yeah.
They're afraid that their money's going to run out. And so what you do is say, listen, Frank, I know you don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I give you freedom as a customer. I want you to feel the freedom, like tell me how much time you need.
Yeah.
And I'll extend my terms to you.
So
you can't, there's no hardball in this pandemic.
Correct.
Hardball means you get fucked.
I agree with you. And as a sales guy and as a very successful sales guy, you morph into a brand and a business. So then you morph into a businessman entrepreneur. So I want to appeal to that side of Jeffrey. Do I need a bigger balance sheet now where I have more cash or credit line where I can, any other business I had, 3-4 weeks of cash, if I blank out, I get a loan, right? Or I call Uncle Jeffrey up, right?
Exactly.
But now,
Now you blank out, you're screwed.
exactly. But follow what you're saying is because I want to do what you're saying, but then I have to look at my P&L. Like, so now, is a new normal? Do I have more cash on the ledger? Do I make sure I have a line of credit for 3 months? Walk me through the reality of making this happen. Because I'm with you
The
on
first thing, listen,
yeah,
call your banker.
yeah,
Call your banker
yeah,
and sit down with him for a virtual breakfast
yeah,
and say, dude, here's my position.
yeah.
I don't want to lose my position with you. What are the 5 things that I have to do to maintain my ability to get money if I need it? That's number 1.
Got it.
Number 2, go to the SBA. They got a ton of fucking money right now.
Yeah,
Find somebody, a small bank. If you're dealing with the Bank of America, you're screwed. Or
yeah,
Wells Fargo, you're screwed.
yeah.
Go to a community bank and say, hey, listen, this is my business. This is what I do. I'm willing to bring all my business over here. I need you to find me an SBA loan.
So
And
find
they'll get you one.
so find some short-term cash where there's trees. So I always say there's 3 most important people in your life: your doctor, your accountant, and your banker. And even like your local.
But your wife might be in there if you got one.
She's very pregnant right now, so yeah, exactly. So the thing is, I agree with you on that. And then what happened was, and believe it or not, I have a little bit of both, right? I have good banking relationships, but believe it or not, I've had good success with having good banking relationships with a larger bank, like a TD Bank. Believe it or not, I'm having.
Why don't you call them up? Why don't you call them up and say, hey, I want an SBA loan for $5 million?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But it's funny because they X'd out people out of the large banks on the SBA last night. So I agree with you. So I'm going to reevaluate my banking. I have 2 businesses. So I'm going to reevaluate my banking relationships. And I have no problem doubling down with the little red bank on the corner because, you can call Jeffrey on the phone. You can,
They give a shit. They give a shit.
So
Your TD Bank, you know what their slogan is?
what's that?
You're just a fucking number.
Well, that's true because if I leave my branch, it's funny. I go to other branches and like I don't fill out my stuff, and they're like, "Well, we don't do that for you." I'm like, "Well, on my branch they do." So yeah, you don't want to be just branch specific. If I could have a local bank to really go deeper with, but
If you don't know the CEO of the bank, you're screwed.
well, let me ask you this. I want to ask you an interesting question. If you had to invest in order on people, on product, or on process right now, people, product, process, what would you invest in first, and what would you invest in second, and what would you invest in last, and why?
Okay. First thing I'd invest in is myself.
Which is your product.
No, in myself.
Okay. People. Okay.
And the reason I want to invest in myself first is because I am a pretty smart guy,
Yeah.
but this is my first pandemic. Yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I got to figure out what I got to do in order to be my best person.
Okay.
And if you got a pregnant wife, you have any other kids?
I have 2 other children. Yes.
Okay. So that's your first priority, correct?
Correct.
Feed them, get them toilet paper, get them hand sanitizer, get them food,
Yeah.
get them diapers. You're going to need some of those.
Yeah.
And put yourself in a position where you're the best person you can be for yourself first.
Okay. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
Then I would call my top 10 customers and my top 3 or 4 advisors in the same week, maybe even in the same day.
Taking notes, Jeffrey. Yeah, okay.
You got to record. Oh, you're recording. You're fine.
Record it, but I'm still taking notes. Okay.
I'm going to call my top 10 customers and say, what do you need? Forget what I sell. What do you need?
Yeah.
And I'll bet you find commonality. I'll bet you find that 5 out of 10 need the same damn thing.
Okay. So if they need more business or whatever it is.
Whatever they need more of, at least know what it is. And then I'm going to call my resources, my banker, my lawyer, my accountant, my financial planner guy, my life insurance guy, the people that I know that are successful in business, and say, what are you trying to do right now?
and see if you can line up the supply and the demand.
Yeah.
I mean,
Find out, first of all, find out you're not alone.
yeah, yeah,
Second of all, find out what they're doing because it may spark your idea for what you got to do. And it may mean you need to lay off a few people, cut expenses as far as you possibly can, and start it over. If you have a PPP loan, do you have one of those?
I have one that I got the verbal on, like something saying I'm approved, waiting for money to hit, and the other one 50-50. So yeah, so maybe.
Yeah, bad banker,
Yeah,
bad banker.
yeah, trust me.
I mean, we got ours in, we've had ours for a couple of weeks.
But really quick, what happened, Bank of America first said, oh, you only have an account with us, no loan. JP Morgan said, oh, you have a loan but no account. It was like, what the fuck is going on? So I hunkered down and I really went through, I was almost like a banker myself, and I went through the PPP and I did it through 3 different banks and blah, blah. So 2 businesses, I'm probably 80% sure, 90% sure I'm getting one, and 50% on the other. So you're right. My banking well, no, I'll actually do one better. My banking relationship was stronger than I thought. So I was working off of bad assumptions. Like, I'll give an example. My sister always brought bagels to the Bank of America branch. They let her in. They loved her. And they're like, you know what? We love you, Antoinette. We love you guys. You've been great to us. But the good and bad is like, we can't do much for you because this is over our heads. But good, when it opened up to our customer segment, they did give her a call. So like, not all is lost on that front, but we overestimated our banking relationships, and that's true.
No, you overestimated the fact that they give a shit.
Good point.
They didn't know what to do. They did not know what to do. And the banks that know what to do are the online banks and the small banks. They all know exactly what to do.
My PayPal, I got it done, and I didn't get the money yet, but literally the fintech got it. Like, we did the application in an hour, and it was like, hopefully that's where I'm gonna get it from.
Right. And then you need a consultant to make sure that you do it right so you don't have to pay it back.
Good point.
The government's going to give you this money. They're going to give you this money. But people from New Jersey think, oh, I got the money, I don't have to do anything. No. You have the money, you have to put it right in your payroll account, 75% of it.
Yep.
And then if you own a building, you pay rent to yourself, so you have the other 25% taken care of. Sure. And then you're good to go. And I'm not giving you banking advice or legal advice.
But here's what's interesting, though. You have this uncanny ability, and who am I to summarize your career, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of discussion, is you started out in the old-fashioned books. You saw a shit ton of them. You kind of came to the digital age. You were such a strong brand that you persevered. Like, you went the distance. Yeah, and I won't keep you too much.
Right. I'm not going to quit.
No, but when you survived, like not only survived, like you could have. I'm gonna be really honest, and I shouldn't say this, but you could have and should have died, and you did it, and you persevered. How the hell did you navigate being the guru, navigating digital, and then actually growing as opposed to just being the legacy jerk off?
Because I surrounded myself with people that knew what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, yes, I'm computer literate. Yes, I have a Facebook Live. Yes, I do it myself. But if I want to do something in Kajabi, I need a Kajabi expert.
Yeah.
We have a VA firm. I have consultant people that I can't do some things. So I have a digital branding guy that I totally love. And I want to put myself in a position where if I don't know it, I'm going to find the best person for it. If I don't know it, I'm going to find the best person for it. And then I'm going to go from there. And when I lived in New Jersey, and I think this is South Jersey and North Jersey, everyone already knows everything.
Yeah.
So they think they can do it themselves and everybody else is a dumb schmuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot. No, he's not an idiot. He knows different things than you do. And if you would hire some of those idiots, you'd probably be in a better place.
Yep.
But the challenge is you have to give it up a little bit in order to grow.
Okay.
It ain't going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But it'll be business. It ain't going to be perfect, but it'll be business.
It'll be business. Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, I get the right people on the bus. You have to surround yourself with the right people. Is this also a time to be doing an inventory? Like, you have Jane, who's your top performer, and she's having a good attitude. You know she's struggling. You're all struggling together. Versus another guy's naysaying. Like, is this also a time where, like, if somebody's ugly, do they get a pass on this, or is that their true colors? Because that's what I'm struggling with.
Passes. No passes. Here's the deal. My buddy Dan Burrus, someone you should follow, he's a futurist and he's an amazing guy, Burrus, said to me, in times of uncertainty, document what you're certain of.
Ooh, okay.
And so you take an inventory of yourself,
Yeah.
your customers, your business assets, and your human assets. And you decide who stays and who goes, or what stays and what goes, or what you can do without, and what you need, and just deal with it. What you're certain of, who you're certain of.
Wow.
What you're certain of, who you're certain of. And for the moment, you need to figure that the hell out.
Amazing. Wow. So, wow, this is good. What are you working on? I can't take this much of your time and not have you hawk something, Jeffrey. What are you working on?
I'm doing a course on how to recover.
Okay.
It's called The New Normal. It'll be for sale. You can just go thenewnormalcourse.com, I think is where it's going to be.
Okay.
But I'm going to, hold on.
Your assistant. Give me a link and I can add it.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a link where you can get on the wait list because I haven't charged money for it. It's going to be 2 payments of $98.
More than worth.
It's for nothing.
Yeah.
It's for nothing. And yeah, there'll be an upsell for another $100, but it's for 2 payments of $98.
Yeah.
You're going to learn why we're here, what's going to change, why you need to talk a different way because people aren't going to take the same shit talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember after 9/11 in New York City when people were actually friendly?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that lasted for about 6 months.
Then it went back.
And then people got back to being, assholes again. But it lasted for 6 months. This is going to last for a couple of years.
Well, so
and there will be, look, you're doing sales calls and you're doing your podcast from home.
Yeah.
You think that's going to change? No. People are finding out, shit, I can get up in the morning and I can make 5 sales calls before I have a cup of coffee.
So how do you test the new normal? So, you're a restaurant, you take out half your seats, you charge double, you try to
Here's the deal. No one knows. There are fundamental things that you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn video. You're going to have to learn virtual. You're going to have to double your social media contacts. You're going to have to learn how to be funnier. You're going to have to sell softer. But in your specific business, no one knows. And so the best thing you can do is come out with some ideas and set the standard.
So maybe
be the guy people are attracted to and set the standard. Say, hey, and plus you already have balls. You're from Jersey. You're born with balls.
Yeah.
But you know what the challenge is? Fucking use them.
Good point. Good point. The fortune, something with the bowl gets rewarded anyway. So, okay. So I'm looking on that. And to conclude though, because you need some predictions from me. Because you did share some major pearls, but we need some specifics, and not getting too political, even though you bashed the governor. Where do you stand on, what does the economy get? Is going to be a U? Is it going to be a V? Is it going to be a W? Without getting too politically, what the hell's going to happen?
I'm going to give you an answer that's kind of plaid.
Okay.
Some businesses will never recover.
Were they weak before?
Some businesses have already gone out. There, a bunch of restaurants have gone out because they had no capital backing and they're gone.
But was it?
So some will never return.
But that's my
Pardon?
Was it week before? Like, was the patient already sick, and then boom, this came and we were gone, or this unilaterally?
Look at like the coronavirus. The people who died were the most vulnerable.
Good point. Good point.
Same in business. The businesses that are going to die will be the most vulnerable. The ones that will survive may not have the most money, but will be the most resilient. They're the ones that are going to respond in a way that's going to say, yeah, I'm not going to die. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, there's an old joke of Robert, Robert Klein, the comedian?
Yeah.
Okay. He's fishing in the East River.
Oh, Jesus.
And he throws his fishing line over and he gets a fish. And the fish goes, get this fucking hook out of my mouth.
I love it. I love it.
That's the resilience that you need in order to be able to win in this recovery period of time.
All right. So I'm gonna,
Yes, you need new skills, and I'll delineate all of those skills.
yeah.
But you better learn how to recover or you're screwed.
So I'm gonna do 3 takeaways from this. One is invest in yourself, be a better person, and then from there you could be infectious around you and your team. So
Exactly. If you can't listen, if you're not the best person you can be for yourself, who the hell are you going to go to for something else?
good point.
Like,
Second,
seriously?
yeah. And then second, make sure you have the right teammates, not just people that work with you, but the right banker, blah blah blah. Blah. And then the third is which is most important, you gotta execute, you gotta do it, you gotta get shit done. And then that's how you survive the
Exactly. I'm texting you right now the link for the wait list for my course.
okay.
Just click on it, make sure it works.
Okay.
Make sure the link works. But you don't have to buy anything. Just tell people to get on the wait list. There's hundreds of people on the wait list right now for the course. I'm probably going to announce it next week. And immediately hundreds of people will buy because it's cheap.
Well, you did it the right way.
That's it. It's
There
working.
it is. Perfect. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this.
Tell both your friends.
Love it. No, I'm Jeffrey. You know, it sucks because like I probably didn't ask you half the things I wanted to, but more importantly, you're right. You're helping us through a tough time, and it's interesting because like you're not conceptual. That's the other thing. I don't want to knock Grant Cardone and these other guys. They say they're all these tough things and great things, and then like you kind of cut the steak.
I don't need a fucking airplane. You know what I need? No mortgage. That's what I need. I need no car payment. That's what I need. And I need to live in comfort, which I do. And I want to make sure that I'm healthy and I'm happy and I don't need to brag about it. I didn't call you, did I?
No, but what's interesting is
No. Wait. Did you call me?
no, I called you.
Right. No, I don't call anybody.
That's
I
what
haven't called anybody for 25 years. Not one person. 2,500 speeches, never made a sales call. Because I put value out and people call me up on the phone.
Well, you know what I like is you're one of the few guys and gals that I chat with that talk about I'm sensing to run lean and reduce expenses. Nobody's chatting about that now. People like I'm literally going through every single subscription. Do I need Hulu? Do I need Constant Contact?
Right, we cut everything. We cut everything.
Yeah.
It was a great renaissance for us to see what we didn't need.
I love it. And then if you add value, like you said, maybe some customers might say to me, "Hey Tom, I may not be ready now, but when I will, we'll be there." Jeffrey,
You know what the first thing I cut was?
What's that?
Direct TV.
Interesting.
What do I need that shit for $200 a month?
Good point. Good point. Good point.
I read books. I write. I don't need a television set. My kid, I have an 11-year-old daughter, which I know I shouldn't, but I do. And I said, just watch Netflix. You'll be fine.
Trust me, my 10-year-old is burning through friends and the office as we speak. So Jeffrey, how can we find you? I'll put a link.
Gitomer.com. Gitomer.com is all you need. Gitomer.com or my new course, and I'm the happiest guy on the planet.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Tom, it's my damn pleasure.